It was the kind of matchup no one dared to imagine, let alone believe could ever happen. A collision between two titans from completely different worlds. One ruled the ring with iron fists and a fury unmatched. The other stalked his prey inside the squared circle with a venomous calm and a stare that could paralyze. Mike Tyson, the baddest man on the planet, feared by men twice his size, standing across from Randy Orton, the apex predator of WWE, whose legacy is etched in the bodies he's broken and the minds he's manipulated. A boxer versus a wrestler, a storm meeting a serpent. This wasn't just a clash of styles, it was a war of mentalities. Tyson's name carries a kind of weight that few athletes have ever known. The mere sound of it brings to mind knockouts so brutal. Crowds gasped before the ref could count to 10. And yet, there's a rawness beneath the surface. A fire that never fully cooled. A chaos that still simmers, waiting for someone reckless enough to provoke it. Orton, on the other hand, has spent his entire career mastering control. He doesn't explode. He coils, waits, and strikes with precision. Every RKO is a statement. Sudden, devastating, and cold. But what happens when cold calculation meets unrelenting aggression? Who survives when patience is forced to confront primal rage? This wasn't a fantasy booking cooked up in a fan forum. It started with a stare backstage. Two legends crossing paths, neither one backing down. Tyson, with that crooked grin and eyes that don't blink. Orton, deadpan, unflinching, sensing a challenge where others would see danger. The tension didn't need words. No contract had been signed, no bell had rung, but the energy shifted the moment they locked eyes. It was like watching two predators circle, neither willing to strike first, but both more than capable of ending the other. The whispers spread fast, locker room chatter turned into headlines. Fans were torn, boxing purists scoffing at the idea of Tyson stepping into a scripted world, while wrestling diehards warned that Orton's mind games were more than enough to break even the fiercest of warriors. What neither side expected was how real this would feel. There were no smiles for the camera, no friendly back and forth. This was personal, and it was building. Slow, tense, and real. There's something unsettling about watching two men who thrive in violence size each other up, not with trash talk, but with silence. Tyson had nothing to prove, but he wasn't about to be disrespected. Orton didn't need to flex. His calm was the threat. But deep down, both knew only one could walk away unshaken. As the date drew near, neither camp blinked. No pullouts. No staged apologies. Just the rising hum of something coming that couldn't be stopped. And then, just days before the confrontation, something happened that changed everything. Security footage leaked online, grainy but clear enough to set the internet on fire. No press conference, no promo shoot, just Tyson and Orton in a dimly lit corridor, face to face again. But this time, there was movement. Tyson leaned in, said something no one could quite make out. Orton didn't flinch, didn't speak. He just smirked, turned his back, and walked away. That 5-second clip was enough to send fans spiraling. Theories exploded across forums and podcasts. Was Orton baiting him? Was Tyson losing control before the match even started? The buzz wasn't about who would win anymore. It was about whether this thing would even stay contained. Behind the scenes, people started to get nervous. Producers whispered about needing more medical staff on standby. Contracts were reviewed, re-reviewed. What had begun as a high-profile exhibition now felt like a bomb being passed around with a lit fuse. Tyson's training camp shut down media access altogether. Rumors flew that he'd broken two sparring partners' ribs in the span of a week. Orton's team, typically tight-lipped, posted a cryptic message on social media. "I've never needed luck, only timing." That line, chilling in its simplicity, racked up millions of views. It wasn't bravado. It was a warning. Just when everyone thought the tension couldn't peak any higher, an unexpected name entered the conversation. Someone from Tyson's past, a former associate known only in shadows and whispers, reached out publicly to challenge Orton's claims of dominance. A figure who once stood beside Tyson during his darkest days, now suggesting that Orton had struck a nerve Tyson never let heal. No one expected that card to be played. It wasn't about technique anymore. It was about legacy, about ghosts neither man had fully laid to rest. Even more shocking was what Orton did next. On live television, during a match, he broke character, not for a crowd pop, not for drama, but to send a clear message. He paused mid-ring, stared directly into the hard cam, and simply said, He knows where to find me. The broadcast didn't replay it. WWE made no mention of it in post-show coverage, but the fans saw it. They clipped it, posted it, dissected every syllable. It wasn't just entertainment anymore. This was slipping into something real. And beneath all of it, something else was bubbling. Something no one on the outside could see. A quiet investigation had begun, sparked by insurance teams worried about liability. They uncovered something in the fight paperwork that didn't add up. A clause that shouldn't be there. A condition getting in legal jargon. Whatever it was, someone went to great lengths to keep it buried. Now the question wasn't just about who would win. It was what they were actually walking into. What neither man realized was that someone else had been pulling strings from the shadows, watching, waiting, and now ready to make their move. The lights inside the arena dimmed to a hush that didn't feel staged. It felt like the audience was holding their breath collectively, as if everyone knew something bigger was about to unfold. Tyson stood in his corner, gloves on, his eyes not searching the crowd or soaking in the spectacle, but locked dead ahead. Orton's entrance wasn't exaggerated this time. No pyrotechnics, no grand gestures. He walked to the ring with an eerie calm, the kind of silence that made even the most seasoned fans uneasy. No one said it aloud, but everyone was thinking the same thing. This didn't feel like a performance anymore. This felt like something personal. As the bell rang, they couldn't charge. No haymakers, no opening grapples. Just that slow, silent circle, the type that lets you feel every second stretch. Then Tyson moved first, a jab, sharp and fast. But Orton slipped just outside its range, like he'd seen it 1,000 times in his head. They traded few shots early, but each one felt meaningful. Orton was testing Tyson's timing. Tyson was testing Orton's nerve, and the rhythm grew with every exchange, from strategic to tense to dangerous. Somewhere around the third minute, the first real connection landed. Tyson's left hook grazed Orton's jaw, just enough to rattle the audience. But Orton didn't stumble. He smiled. And then came the RKO attempt out of nowhere, missed by inches. Backstage, the mysterious clause was finally exposed. A member of the commission confirmed the contract contained a line allowing one outside agent of influence to interfere if the fight reached escalated, unsanctioned conditions. No one in the media understood what that meant until it happened. Just as the fourth round began, the cameras caught movement near the timekeeper's table. A figure stepped over the barrier. Not security, not a ref. It was the same shadowy name from Tyson's past, the one who'd resurfaced online weeks before. But this wasn't some dramatic return. He held no mic, made no announcement. He was holding a pair of gloves. Tyson spotted him instantly. Something in his posture shifted. Not fear, not hesitation, but something deeper. Orton, sensing the change, seized the moment. RKO, clean, brutal, straight to the mat. The ref dropped a count, 1-2, and then stopped. Not because Tyson kicked out, but because the mystery man had stepped into the ring and placed his hand on Tyson's chest. Chaos erupted. Officials stormed the ring. Fans screamed, unsure if this was scripted or real. And Tyson got up, slowly, methodically, like he'd just been reminded who he was and what he was fighting for. In a moment that would live on in highlight reels forever, Tyson turned, not toward Orton, but toward the man who'd just intervened. He didn't punch. He didn't yell. He whispered something into the man's ear, then gently pushed him back through the ropes. Orton watched, confused for the first time in the match. Tyson turned back, not at once, and extended his gloves, not in surrender, but in challenge. The final exchange was raw, uncut, and full of everything that had been bubbling beneath the surface. Tyson landed a clean right to Orton's body, followed by a sharp uppercut that staggered him. Orton countered with a knee to the jaw, almost instinctual. And then, just as Tyson prepared to finish it, he stopped, looked out into the crowd. Something had clicked. The fight wasn't about the win anymore. It was about walking away from the ghost that tried to define him. Tyson lowered his hands. Orton, stunned, paused, and instead of capitalizing, he did something no one expected. He dropped to one knee, nodded in respect, and stood up. There was no knockout, no official victory. The ref, lost in the moment, never called the fight. But it didn't matter. The arena erupted in applause, not for a winner, but for two warriors who had nothing left to prove. In a night meant to showcase destruction, they delivered something far more powerful: closure. The twist, though, came after the cameras stopped rolling. As Tyson walked backstage, one of the producers handed him an envelope that had been left in his locker before the match. No name, no return address. Inside, a photo. Faded, torn at the edges. Tyson and the same mysterious man, decades younger, standing outside a gym. On the back, scribbled in ink barely legible, "You were always fighting more than just men." And just like that, the real meaning behind the match finally made sense.